What's up, everybody? We are back with episode. Oh, I forgot to change the episode number, didn't I? No, I didn't. Episode number 297. Is that
Is that
correct?
what it is?
I think it
297?
is 297. Man, we've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today we have a special guest with us. Welcome, Ken Pike, the guy in the center there. He is from the band Absolon, and we're going to be talking with him about his latest project and the one he's working on, and probably some past stuff as well. But before we do that, Carcass John, you got anything you want to say? To any shout outs or anything?
No real shout outs. I mean, it just seems like heck, we're already halfway through the first month of 2026, and it seems like we were just in last year. But I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to I've been doing kind of a deep dive on new music and so forth, and I've been getting these best of from record labels, or like what do they call them? Like a 2026 compilation. Like these are these are snippets from our new music year or whatever. And so I don't know. I'm kind of stoked about 2026 being a year for heavy music. So
yeah, it seems like there's gonna be a lot of stuff coming out. So you're anything you needed to show before you do your picks?
No, other than my picks of the week, I got nothing, man. On a budget. I'm on a budget until the end of the month.
Let's get into that then.
I love that riff, man. Holy cow. Okay, just for everybody who doesn't know, every week I do a rock pick of the week and I do a metal pick of the week, something I think everybody needs to have in their collection. So let's start with the rock pick of the week, and this is going to be a shocker, but this is based on something that I was actually corresponding with Shannon Fry, the enigmatic Shannon Fry, who seems to not like anything but likes some really great things. And I got to hear a new Avenger of Blood song, by the way. So you can be jealous later. But we were talking about this, and I'm going to show it because this is really great. Have you ever heard of
That's a great album. Absolutely.
And do you know who the guitar players are and the vocalist and all that stuff?
Absolutely. You hadn't tell everybody.
That would be, let's see, Bruce Kulick on guitar.
Yep.
And?
Bruce Kulick of Kiss and Grand Funk fame.
Sandy Gennaro on drums, and Jimmy Haslip on bass. And I think he's related to Scooter Haslip of Pentagram. But anyway, and the enigmatic Michael Bolton on vocals. And man, it sounds, Michael Bolton, and it really sounds great. In fact, I'm gonna say it, and you're not gonna believe it, but the first Michael Bolton record is absolutely a crusher. It is a rock and roll blistering. It is greatness.
So is that Blackjack album.
Yeah, and you need to grab it like a rabbit. And in fact, little known dirty little secret, Michael Bolton was a pretty good guitar player, and he even played on the first Aldo Nova record. If you're familiar with Aldo Nova, I am, and I love it. But Blackjack, if you can find a copy of this, it's really cool because it folds out like a deck of cards. It's kind of fun. And my metal pick of the week, if you can find this compilation, this is Ultimate Revenge 2.
And that thing's fantastic.
It has a grouping of Scott's favorite bands. It's got Forbidden, and they got a couple of tracks, Faith or Fear, which I've kind of turned around on. I kind of like them. Death, Dark Angel, which, hey, Scott, it actually sounds like thrash.
Yes, it is.
Angel does.
Very good.
And then Raven. And it's got a couple of really cool tracks from Raven, Into the Jaws of Death, and Give Me a Break. But man, if you can find a copy of this, grab it. I've got the VHS, I've got the cassette, I've got the CD, but I never had the vinyl. But now I've got the vinyl. And by the way, if you've got the VHS and you just don't feel like having it, that thing goes for like $100 on eBay. It's ridiculous.
The CD goes for that kind of money too.
That's crazy. But anyway, it's a pretty serviceable live board recording of those four bands, and each the track sounds great. And in fact, this one has the hype sticker on it, which was kind of fun. It says, including 5 songs that are not on the video. So, well worth having. So, rock
Hey,
pick.
there's speaking of Shannon Fry, he just showed
There
up.
he is. Hey, Shannon, this one's for you, buddy. Blackjack is my rock pick, and the Ultimate Revenge 2 is my metal pick.
What's up, guys? Everybody showing up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
We got the Racing Genius and Nordic Fire, HPT fan showing up here. Shannon Fry
from Melbourne.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway,
So,
but yeah,
cool.
If you want to fight me in the parking lot about Michael Bolton's first album, let's go, man. That thing is a rocker.
Well, what do you think about the Osmonds?
Crazy Horses, heaviest song of its, what was that, 70, 60, 69, something like that?
I think it was 69, yeah.
I mean, say what you want. Look, if it rocks, it rocks. I don't care who the artist is. I don't care if it's the Jackson 5. I don't care if it's Jackson Brown. I don't care. If it rocks, it rocks. So that's the way I feel about music. I'm not such an elitist that I can't say when something's good. And quite frankly, Michael Bolton, you rock. Bruce Kulick, you rock. And of course, Dark Angel sounds like thrash.
And because
I read that
before we ended, I did want to also say about Bruce Kulick. He's actually playing again on the new Chris
Manning
album. Yep. So
sweet,
because he's actually been the musical. After Chris writes the songs, him and the two of those guys go over the songs together and make sure that the composition's right. And it's pretty cool the way he works with Bruce Kulick. But he always plays on a song on his album, so he's working on the new album now. So coming soon.
By the way, his Chris Manning's albums are great. I know nobody's really ever heard of the guy. I don't know why. He's really. His guitar playing will hold up with just about anybody out there, and plus,
his singer is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And plus, if you ever have a chance to check out the Zeppelin project, his guitar tone and technique and playing on stage is just like Jimmy Page, and they play some deep cuts. They don't play your standard stuff. They play lots of stuff off of Houses of the Holy and Presence and whatever. It's really a unique tribute to Led Zeppelin. So Chris Manning, that would be my shout out for today, I guess, would be to Chris Manning.
There you go. And there we go.
There we go.
Oh, Mr. Pickle just showed up. What's up, guys? And Goldie Wax, what's going on?
Mormon metal, of course. I danced with Marie Osmond. Anyway, when
right
I was
on.
in college.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into it then. So we have our special guest with us. I'm gonna blow it up and so we can see each other a little better. And now you can see all our ugly faces, ugly mugs.
Writing.
You make me like really small.
Yeah, really small.
You look better on a stamp than a billboard. That's what my mom would say.
Well, I shaved.
One thing
I just recently, about a couple of weeks ago, I had the mustache and long beard. I shaved off I don't know why. I
did too. I shaved it off a week ago because it was driving me crazy.
And now I'm trying to throw it back, but
I was tired of eating it.
Doing this all the time, and
but Tony Clem with us.
I wished I hadn't shaved it off.
Yeah, if I shaved mine, just so you know, if I shaved mine off, I would be missing in action for about a month or more.
Oh, because your wife would kill you.
Yeah, she would. She'd bury me, and then she'd
grow a beard like
and then she'd do some voodoo resurrection thing, get me back.
What's Mormon metal?
Well, I don't know. There's some of it out there.
Mormon metal?
Yeah.
Mormon metal?
The Osmonds. That's like is Crazy Horses like a proto metal song?
Could be. I mean, it's definitely a hard rocker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's early 70s too, so it was,
right in that wheelhouse.
Around the same time as Zeppelin, Sabbath, and Deep Purple, and all those were coming out with the harder rock and stuff. So, anyhow, let's get into the show. This is like I said earlier. This is Ken Pike. If you don't know who Ken Pike is, he is a vocalist. He's got one of the coolest houses I've ever seen. I love seeing the pictures of your house. I believe your house is haunted, is it not?
Oh yeah, it's haunted off the chain.
He's got it's a really cool. It's like a Victorian style, right? Is that the correct word for it?
It's a neoclassical antebellum style house.
It literally looks like Disney could buy that house and they could make it the haunted house in the next movie. That's kind of the look of it. It doesn't look all broken down like that, but it's just that kind of style of home. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a big house.
Yeah.
Big.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with your band Absolon before we getting into? I know you said you were going to be you're working on new material, but I pulled some stuff that we could talk about too, some records and some CDs. But I thought we could go through the catalog a little bit. But this is the most recent one.
Yeah, we just released that one on No Life Till Metal Records.
Mm-hmm.
It's run by a guy, Scott Water, something like that. And so yeah, we just put that out. It's getting, so far, the few reviews we've gotten, I've gotten really, really good reviews. So we must have done something right.
It's still eking out there and still selling, here and there, and which is good. So that's always the best way to do it. Sometimes you'll sell a whole bunch up front and then it doesn't sell for anymore. This one keeps leaking out, which means more and more people are finding out about it. And this is actually my favorite album of the 4 Absolon albums. I like them all, but this one here grabbed me by the jugular more so than the other ones did.
Yeah.
And it actually made my top 30 list of the year. So, and that's
cool.
Yep. My top 30 video, it's in there. I don't remember what number it was, but like I said in the beginning of that video, it doesn't really make a difference. The order is kind of arbitrary anyhow. It's just a bunch of stuff I like, other than like the top 5. But those are albums I listen to so much it's ridiculous. But but yeah, it's on my top. But yeah, so yeah, we'll talk about this one a little bit. Let everybody know tell us about this one.
Well, that's our fourth album, and I had Alex Rapetti and Wayne Noon rejoin back to do this one. They played on the last one, the Bloodseed, and this one we brought in Mark Mulchnick on keyboards, and of course, as you all know, all 3 of them also are members of Severed Angel. So yes, and I love Severed Angel. So to have those 3 guys, working with me, they're really, really good musicians.
That's actually one of the comments I made on my top list, was that the drumming on that new album is amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, and what's funny is Wayne doesn't think, unless he's just joking around, he doesn't think he's like all that great or whatever. And I'm always telling him, dude, you are I've played with a lot of drummers through the years, and I played with some really, really good drummers, and he's right up there with some of the best that I've played with. But he really brought, with the last album and this one, he brought a really driving, energetic quality, the sound to the songs.
I agree. Yep.
And then in combination with Alex's guitar work, they really recreated the Absolon sound. This is what Absolon is supposed to, I have always envisioned Absolon sounding like. So they really kind of created the Absolon sound. So, and they're just really good musicians. And then having Mark come on board doing keyboards and stuff, that kind of put this album, a little bit more on another level. But this album is a lot heavier, and I actually think more melodic.
I think it's heavier too, and I can hear the more melody too.
Yeah.
And the keyboards are part, but it's not the guitars are driving. The keyboards are there to layer the sound, but the guitars are more driving.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex went a bit heavier on this one than I think. Though with the last album, that was the first time we had all played. Yeah, that's the first time we had all played together or worked together, and I think we were just kind of finding out how each other worked. And well, of course, Wayne and Alex already knew, but working with me and what we wanted to do with the sound and everything. And I think it kind of it solidified more on this new album. It kind of came together a lot more.
There he is. I knew there was a picture of Alex in there somewhere.
Yeah,
There's
good
Alex.
old Alex is. I mean, and I think he thinks I just I'm blowing smoke up his butt, but Alex is really a super talented guy. I mean, he does the guitar, he does the bass, he does backing vocals. On the last album, he did the keyboards, and he engineers, he mixes and masters the material. It's like I wish I had, I'm just a singer songwriter, man. I wish I had that ability, that talent like he's got. But
I think these two albums are pretty, not similar, but they you can tell it's the same band. They really jive well together. I love them both. Matter of fact, we just had somebody say they picked. There you go, Nordic Fire said I picked up the Blood Seed last year and love it. So
cool, thank you.
We also had our buddy Shannon ask, what kind of band is Absolon?
So how would you describe Absolon?
I think Absolon is the foundation is traditional heavy metal, because I'm a traditional heavy metal guy. Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, of course Queensryche. Even back in my Malachi days, I was traditional metal. But I think we blended in with a little bit of power metal, a little bit of prog, gothic. There's a little gothic because the songs I tend to write dark. But the foundation is traditional.
Yeah, I've been calling it prog / power metal when everybody asks. So yeah, it's got a bit of progressive tendencies, but it's definitely more straightforward power metal.
So I was going to say, when people say power metal, then that conjures up a whole bunch of different images. Is it more like current Blind Guardian, or is it more like Symphony X, or is it like Conception? Is it like
I don't know. We get comparisons, of course, to Queensryche, but Crimson Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other bands.
I just saw them at Hell's Heroes. And I don't know how many guitarists they ended up having on stage, but it was a whole bunch. But anyway, it was interesting. I mean, I love Transcendence. So if that's what you're talking about, then I'm...
Yeah, Heir Apparent, early Queensryche, not the 90s, late 90s into 2000 stuff. Crimson Glory is another good one. Yeah, it's pretty much straight heavy metal. I would have just called it straight heavy metal, but these days everybody calls anything that's straight heavy metal power metal. So...
And I don't understand that either. But there's so many genres. Metal is metal to me. Whatever. But that's some people have to be pigeonholed into something in order to kind of understand it, I guess.
I hate. I'm with you. I hate that. Well, what kind of metal is it? I mean, well, it's heavy metal. I mean, what do you like to listen to?
Yeah. Does it rip? Okay, then I like it. Does it not rip? Okay, well, it might be for somebody else. But so I guess that leads to the question you sort of already mentioned it, Ken. But like, what were some of your influences growing up? I mean, obviously Priest and Maiden, and those are... Well,
it started, of course, when I was how old was I? I don't know, 14 or whatever. It started with the Beatles, of course. This in the 70s. So it started with the Beatles, and I became a Beatle fanatic, which I still am. But and that's around the time I got my first guitar, and I started learning to play guitar. And then I taught myself Beatles songs, and vocally I sounded like John Lennon. I've always been good at mimicking vocalist. And then after that, I got into when I started getting into more rock. I got in Styx was a probably musically was my first big influence. But then Styx, Boston, Foreigner, classic rock. And then the late 70s, probably early 80s, I just discovered Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, Saxon, and really got into that. I became a metalhead at that point. And then I discovered my bane, I guess you could call it, would become my bane. It's Queensryche when they put out their first EP.
Their first EP is amazing.
Yep.
When I heard that, a friend actually who knew I was into that kind of heavy metal, he loaned me his cassette tape. He never got it back. He ended up moving or something, so I got to keep it. But when I first heard that, I was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. The style of music, because it didn't sound like anyone else. And then, of course, the vocals. It was like, this is where I want my voice to go. The clean operatic sound. And then, of course, Scott, especially, you heard that in Malachi. I was, oh, God.
This is the
first Malachi. What else?
Closet, Ken.
This one came out in what year did this thing come out? Do you remember? 1980 something or other. 1985, 1980, somewhere in that area. 86, 87, somewhere in the mid 80s.
Because Red Sunrise, I think, came out in 86.
So this one must have been 85 then.
Yeah.
Or could have even been 84. But anyhow, this thing. Yeah. I love this album. I actually like it better than Red Sunrise because I just like
that's raw.
The raw production. It's just sounds very organic to me as opposed to processed. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of that, if I remember right, a lot of that was kind of live. We didn't do a whole ton of overdubs and stuff because we couldn't afford it. So
well, here, let me just show this.
Oh my God! Is that the same guy? That's not me.
We all looked a little different back then in '84.
Oh my God! I'm wearing spandex, and we were wearing makeup, and we had a different guitar player and drummer then.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe you know the story, but this album, if you find original copies of this album, they were for a while selling for like $500 a piece, if you could find it.
Yeah,
because the story I was told, and you can verify because it was your band, was that the guitar player in the band, right? I think it was your guitar player, had piles of these things at his house, the original vinyl, and didn't do anything with them for the years. So he held on to them for like 10 years and then took all of them and put them in a big dumpster.
Oh, that was Wade, the bass player.
Oh, bass player. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So he threw them away. So there was hundreds and hundreds of copies apparently he threw away. So yeah. So now if you can find a copy of this, good luck, because it was an independent release. It was not on a label, right? As I recall.
Nope. Yeah, it was independent. We put it out.
Sounds like a No Life Till Metal reissue to me.
Oh, it's been reissued.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you got it. Yeah. This is the reissue right here. This is not an original pressing. I don't own an original pressing. Like I said, I have an original of the other album, but not this one. So anyhow, I pulled it out because I thought we could talk about it a little bit.
Don't feel bad. I don't have copies of anything except for what Bill put out. I don't have any. Oh, see, there's me being all goth before goth was the thing.
I actually looked through a collection not even a couple of weeks ago, and I remember seeing that record. And in fact, it might have been our friend hair metal Rob Colwell had that.
I'm pretty sure he does. Let's see if we get it without a glare. There he is.
Wow, look at that.
It doesn't even look like me now.
Hey, Jeff Pike. I mean, Jeff Tate.
What you
definitely have that goth look there going on. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can see what I was going for with his look on the Rage for Order.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, with the hair and kind of that's kind of
Kind
what
of a prettier version of the Misfits with the little.
So what do you think of
curly.
this album compared to the first album?
You know, I'm with you when I haven't listened to either of them in years, but I would lean towards the first one because it was a rawer sounding. It almost sounded like it was recorded completely live, and James, the guitar player, he wasn't like a great guitar player. He did the best he could with his ability, but it sounded for that album, it sounded good. It sounded very metal, very raw. The thing about Red Sunrise was we had a little bit more money, and I think it was maybe, I'm not going to say it was polished, maybe for 80s standards, but certainly not today. But it was a little more polished, and
The keyboards were more out front.
Way too much keyboards, and nothing against Chima, Aola, the keyboard player. I love Chima, and he's really was a very, very accomplished keyboard player. But I think we somehow went into just too much keyboard. It was almost like a second guitarist. And I always wanted a second guitarist. I wanted us to be a double guitar, like Judas Priest or Thin Lizzy or Iron Maiden. And I'm not sure why. Well, I do know why, but I don't want to start conflict, so I'm not going to say it. But we didn't go. I wanted a second guitar player, and we didn't end up doing it. So we started going heavier on the keyboards, and nobody was really, I mean, we could say nobody was really doing that at the time. So we were a little different, but I think it kind of took away from the edge, you know, the music being a little edgier and a little more metal with so much keyboards, you know, should have been a lot more guitar oriented.
I think that's the key to making something sound heavier, especially with a progressive or a symphonic metal type thing, where if you have the second guitar, the keyboards become more of a companion rather than a key player, and I think that's what makes it sound like. I mean, I use the Symphony X example all the time, but you know, to each their own. I mean, like Deep Purple had one guitarist and a heavy keyboard feel, and they were heavy, I thought.
Yeah, but they didn't have. It wasn't the '80s keyboards. It was the organ.
Yeah,
it was the organ sound, and that organ sound was heavy and gritty and grindy. Yeah, the keyboards were always like lighter, and it just was not the same animal.
Too electronic, and a lot of that was happening back there in that time with new wave, and you know, it was a fine line between Duran Duran, Flock of Seagulls, and something heavier, Queensryche. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, Queensryche did, you know, on Court Rage for Order, they incorporated a lot of keyboardish stuff, you know, like with sound effects and that, but a lot of keyboard. But it enhanced the songs. It made the songs better. It like I said, it was a companion to the two guitars, and then Jeff's Pace vocals, and it really worked. And it was very experimental. They were doing stuff on that album that was just really outside mainstream and real different. You know, and other bands, I mean, Dream Theater, Camelot, you know, bands that are able to incorporate keyboards even heavily, but still kick butt in their music. Malachi, it was just like, oh, another keyboard solo, you know, more keyboards, you know, and they're in your face.
Right. Yeah. But the EP, or not the EP, but the first album wasn't like that. It was more guitar driven, and
we didn't have.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Oh, yeah.
California Middle Volume 2. You guys had the song Runaway on here.
Yeah.
But the name changed all of a sudden.
Yeah. And you know, I
Was there a reason for the name change? I always wondered about that.
Wait, what did it change to?
Vision.
Vision?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I mean, I can't really remember why. I had a guy contact me a few weeks ago. He's writing a book about 80s Christian metal, and
Artie Parker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he asked me, about the why the change in the name, and I told him I really can't remember. I remember us talking about like Bashan Tyre, which was names out of the Bible, and some other name, stupid name, and I don't know how we came up with Vision. I can't remember why we changed the name. Looking back, it was stupid.
But if you have 2 albums of momentum and then you just swap it out in the middle of the road, that's kind of
But the thing about the California Metal album, and I just know something a little bit about it, was this album was basically the album that launched this one in Volume 1, and the East Coast Metal launched a lot of bands' careers. They got record contracts from this. So I always wondered, did you guys change your name because you were looking for a bigger deal and a different, maybe a different sound? Because again, the keyboards were on this song, but they weren't out front as much as they were on the Red Sunrise album.
Well, that's because we worked with Dino and John Elefante,
right?
So, and John, I think Chima had the concept of the keyboards, but John really filled it out. So to give what we had, but you can see as the keyboards are laid back, a lot more in it, except for that break in that. But they had those 2 guys had a lot to do with how well that song ended up coming out. I had actually written that song. It was going to be on the 3rd album if we had ever done it. And that's when I was kind of trying to change, not change the sound a whole lot, but I was trying to go a little bit more Queensryche commercial, maybe Empire, with a little bit more structure and melody and that kind of thing.
And a big hook. I mean, the chorus on that song is a big. I don't mean to say it's not a bad thing, but a big pop hook.
Yeah. You're right. That's the commercial thing. I was trying to. At the time, I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I was just really tired of. I know we can't talk religious stuff, but I was really tired of the lyrics that I felt like I had to write all the time.
Right. Well, I mean, Malachi was a Christian band. I mean, everybody knows that. So, and you were moving away from that, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and I got really tired of just I got to write lyrics, so I got to have this and this and this and this so that it fits within. And so I decided, I'm going to start writing songs that just mean something, that has a story, and that's what I've done ever since. So that's where Runaway came from. Is just I wanted to write about something that meant something maybe to somebody.
Right.
I don't think
so you're tired of being in the box where I have to write 1,000 songs and they have to have the word Jesus in every one.
You can certainly be faithful and religious and locked into your whatever your belief system is and still branch away. I mean, in fact, it almost sounds like blasphemy if you're constantly using those quote unquote Christian lyrics in every single song. They talk and here we are getting kind of parochial, but they talk about that repetition, that vain repetition. And sometimes I think in that genre, that vain repetition happens too often when I think you have something other to say than Okay, we know how you feel about that. So let's hear what you feel about your life, or your
Yeah.
struggles in life, or your relationship to other
Or what's
people,
going on,
not
or what's
just
going on in the world, or just tell
yeah,
us a story
not
about
just
going
one
on.
anything.
person. We kind of get
Yeah.
the vibe now. You can move on, and
But
I think
I felt at the time, I felt very pigeonholed. I felt like, okay, this is a quote Christian band, so if I write lyrics outside of that, what's expected, then it's going to piss a bunch of people off, and then it's going to be. I already took flack for the clothes I wore, from some
judge
folks.
ye not that ye be not judged. But whatever.
Yeah. Um, I
Yes, that Goldilocks asked, is John Elefante from Kansas? Yes, that's the John Elefante we were talking about.
And that's probably the reason why they tucked the keyboards, because after being in Kansas, the keyboards are prominent in Kansas too, but they're a subplot to the driving guitars and drums and the soaring vocals.
Yep.
I mean, even the violin is probably as important, if not more so, than the keyboards in Kansas. Yeah. And I'm a Kansas honk from day one, all the way back to the Protocol days.
Oh,
And
I love the Kansas, especially the '70s stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
but,
yeah. When I was talking about Sticks and Foreigners, I should have thrown Kansas, and I was,
Yeah.
well, I still am. I was a huge Kansas fan.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get pigeonholed, or you didn't pigeonhole yourself after a certain point, because I think that people that it lacks growth. I mean, I don't. If you bench press 15 pounds your whole life, you're never going to get strong, and you've got to have some adversity in there. You've got to branch out and try other things. So more power to you, man. And I'm as religious as they come, and I'm still active in what I believe in. But you know what? People need to branch out and discover who they really are and how they can perform, and even under adversity. So,
yeah. Well,
anyhow,
that's where that song came from. Me trying to change things a little bit, and wasn't. I was having a very difficult time. At that time, trying to get some changes, and but
I 100% get that. I remember seeing the because you guys were in that video. Come on, there was a live show you guys did, and there was a video released of it, Men Mardi Gras, and you were out there singing that one song, and it's just putting the microphones in people's faces, and the one guys are screaming there, thrash, thrash, and it was just changing times at the times. Everybody was wanting thrash metal, and yeah.
It was just. I mean, that all was just a very weird time for Malachi. Things were changing. My attitude about things and feeling about things were changing, and there was some tension. Like it just happens. In a band, Christian or otherwise.
It's just like, it's just like friendships or marriages. Sometimes they fall apart. And but anyhow,
but
let's go on to this. So this was the first Absolon album, right? Darkness Rising.
Yes.
So
I would, I still hold a soft place in my heart for that album, because it was the first. But
it's good. It's really good. It's different than the heavier stuff you're doing now, but it's good.
It was it kind of came out of I had put music away for a while. Actually a long while, and I had I didn't want to deal with the music community or companies, or I just got so burnt out, and I was tired of it. So one day, I don't know what possessed me I had my amplifier and guitar down in this den room, and I was bored, so I went down there and I threw my guitar on and turned on the amp, put on that distortion, and I wrote the first song that night, Darkness Rising. And I was like, wow, where did this come from? So then I thought, maybe I'll write like 4 songs, just do a 4-song EP, see if I can get it out there, see if anyone remembers me and would even care. So 4 songs turned into a full album. I started seeing a story arc in those 4 songs. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to do a concept album, kind of like Operation Mindcrime. And the character popped into my head, and the whole, it was just like, boom, it was there. And I spent about, I don't know, 5 months or so writing all the material, all the interludes, and all the speaking pieces, all the songs, and come up with, this story. And then I got my friend who played with me in a previous band I was in, guitar, Ed Dumas, and asked him if he'd like to help me on doing this thing. So he came aboard, and me and him, we recorded. We brought in a drummer guy. He was an okay drummer. He was able to do what we needed him to do, and we went in and started recording it, and came out with the tale of Derek Blackheart.
And I got some great promo photos from this album too. I didn't grab them to show, but I should have. But you remember the promo photos that came with this thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I should have grabbed them. I forgot to grab them, but I've also got the Malakaya promo photos I could have shown. So,
well, I was bald by that time, and had the whole industrial gothic going on, but yeah. So I was really happy, with the way it came out. I would, if looking back now, I would like to have been a heavier and a little harder than like the 2 new albums. But still, I thought it turned out pretty good for a concept album, and after that, I swore I would never do another concept album. And I did.
But then you did.
But then I did
a concept album.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah.
So we're getting a few requests. People want to see the pics. So if you don't mind me disappearing from the stage for a second and just keep talking, I'll go grab them.
They can't be any worse than Malakaya. I mean,
no, they're not. They're actually not at all.
Those are pretty entertaining. And I know we've all had our day in the sun. I used to dress like Don Johnson from Miami Vice, so I'm fully aware of that early '80s, that early '80s style, angst, whatever. And I drove a white Buick Skylark instead of a white Testarossa, but it was close enough for me. With the Ray-Bans and the poofy hair and the 5 days worth of growth. But anyway, well, what would so what do you want to do? What do you want to do, Ken? What do you want to do with this music? Do you want to travel? Do you want to play out? Do you want to do shows? I mean, is that even on the horizon?
There was a time when I played constantly. I was always on stage playing, no matter what band I was in. Absolon was no different. There at the beginning, put together a full band, and we went out and played a lot of shows. And actually started building up a pretty sizable audience. And then me and my wife, we put together a project called Fire Sphere. And put out an album, and we started playing live, and we put on a really big show with video stuff behind us and big music and everything. And then, yeah,
wow,
that's what I did. Did I have hair?
Yeah, you. Oh,
yeah, I did have hair. I let
and
my
a beard.
Yeah.
Hang on. I got more. I got some more.
I liked.
Oh, I'm getting a bad glare. Hang on. Let me see. Let me change this thing up again. There we go.
I like Camelot. I was really into Camelot. and I love Roy Khan's voice, but I like the way he looked too. I liked his look, so I was kind of going for a Roy Khan look.
Has a bunch of.
I was going to say
photos.
California has been just saturated with there was always something going on. I used to trek out there 4 or 5 times a year to visit friends from Texas, and when I was living in Texas, and I'd go out to LA, and even any day of the week there was always something going on musically. It was crazy. And I mean like 4 or 5 bands playing.
Up, Ed. Yeah, that was always, gosh, you should have been there in the 80s.
No, that's what I mean. I was traveling out there in the 80s, all into the early 90s, and it was just always, oh gosh, you guys. I don't think Ken's going to want to be back on the show, Scott. You better put those away. I think those are. I think the world is.
I got one. I got one more. Hang on a second. Ready?
Uh-oh. It's scary. Oh my goodness! Look at that. Look at me.
Wow.
Malachi promo photo.
Wow. You knew who the singer was in Malachi? Only short hair guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Malachi, before we go back to Absalon, I should also mention, I didn't grab it. I didn't think about it. There's also an anthology that is like complete, has everything on it. Demos and that was on Rocks Records, I think.
Yeah. Bill put
and it's
that
got like this massive, like, I don't know, 28, 30 page booklet in it. So
yeah. It's quite Bill did. That was a big deal. Bill really
it was pretty extensive. Yeah. So if you can find that anthology, it's got everything on it. And anyhow, I was going to say on this one here too, excuse me, it's pretty dark. I thought it was really dark, which is not, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just musically very dark. And then there's this woman on here who apparently is way better looking than any of us. Your wife?
Oh yeah,
yeah. There she is, right there. Oh,
yeah,
there she is. Yeah. She sings on this a little bit, right?
No, I didn't even know her. I hadn't met
this
her.
one.
Which one is that?
This is A Portrait of Madness.
Oh, Portrait of Madness. Oh, that's
the
one I would rather forget.
Oh. But she sang a little bit on this one, right?
Yeah. And she wrote, she did all the orchestration on it. And
I loved it. I love the artwork on this thing. It came out so nice. There's so many great images on it.
Yeah, she came up with all that. The front, back, she did that.
Yeah, her and I worked together on the layout and everything.
Yeah,
all the backgrounds, and it's I don't know. I know it's not your favorite album, but I liked it. It's just not quite as heavy as the two that follow it. But
I think the problem is I rushed it. I wanted to. I hadn't put anything out since when did I put out the debut? It was 2013. So I hadn't put anything out for like 8-9 years whenever I put that out. So I was anxious to get something done and put it out to say, hey, I'm back. So I think I rushed it. I didn't spend the time writing the material like I did with the first one, where I spent, like I said, 5 months or more writing. This one, I just was turning out songs just to kind of get them done and hoping they sounded okay when they were done. And I sang everything in a lower register for some reason. When I listen back to it, I don't know why I did that. I don't know whether I was scared to, step out and sing high, or, but I sang everything kind of in the same key, same level. So there was nothing exciting. There's a couple of songs on there that I like. Men in Black Robes. I think the very first song on there that I do like, but most of it, it's just like.
We're getting some comments. Ken's gonna cry seeing pictures of his hair. Yeah, we all get older and our hair falls out, except for John over there.
I've been involved for a long, long, long time. I can't. If I grow my hair back, well, I'm not going to grow my hair back. I'm not going to look like Nero.
And then so here we got
No.
rat salad review. Was that a ghost from Ken's house? Could have been. Yeah, you can find Ken on Facebook, and he posts pictures of his house sometimes and stuff that's going on, which is really cool. So yeah, look him up on Facebook. I like even the pictures on the inside of the house. Very. I mean, are you at your house now? Because you can kind of see the wallpaper behind you in there too. So.
Oh yeah, I'm in the kitchen. The kitchen's kind of obviously the kitchen was a later addition to the house. The house was finished. It was started in 1911. It was finished in 1913. So I think the kitchen was probably added in the 20s. It wasn't original, but the kitchen is kind of retro. It's almost like the early 60s.
That's
in here.
cool.
Yeah, the oven is like a 1962 whatever High Point or something oven is
like from the Christmas Story. Remember that movie, The Christmas Story? And they had, yeah.
The double oven, and
yeah,
the sink is all iron.
Oh, that's neat.
And all the drawers and cabinets and stuff, the facings, doors are all iron. So it's kind of retro, but the rest of the house, the original, is very 1913. I think that was Edwardian times. It was still kind of Victorian, but it was called Edwardian. And it's very much that period. You've walked back in time when you walk in this house.
If anybody's interested, go to Ken's Facebook page. There's photos of his house there, and it really is a cool looking house.
I just sent you a friend request because I'm interested because the queen is my wife is interested in the haunted house, the feel that whole Edwardian. You said it, Edwardian feel. That was that kind of that transition from Victorian to something different, something more American, but yet still kind of European.
Well, what's really cool is we have you see it in some of the pictures, but you can't really appreciate the size of the front porch. It's a big wraparound porch, and it's huge. And then, of course, out front we have the typical neoclassical style, 4 monster pillars in the front, and then there's pillars on the side. But if heck, I lost my train of thought where I was going. I started explaining what the house.
Sorry.
What the house is. Oh, I know where I was going with that. But every once in a while, we'll go sit out on the front porch and just kind of enjoy the outside. And you can't help but stop and think about 1913. The builder of the house, his wife, and I think he had one daughter at the time. And looking out on the street, which is the road out in front is it's brick. It's brick road. It goes all the way up into town. But at that time, that would have been just a dirt road out in front. And imagine, sitting out there and you're seeing horse and carriages going down. And most of the houses around here, except for the real super old ones by us, weren't here. Mm-hmm. And then imagine, the builder and his wife, they're dressed in their, Victorian clothes, walking around the house and going up and down the very same stairs I go up and down 12 times a day. It's the history is what is so cool to me, thinking about 113 years ago. I'm walking in the same space, living in the same space. Is that person 113 years ago?
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, but that's why it's so haunted.
I'm sure it's wild to think about when you're sitting, when you're doing it. It's like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love stories like that, and I love the architecture. So,
yeah, it's quite a house.
Well,
We love it.
we're almost out of time, so we have a little less than 5 minutes left. But what I would like to ask you a question is, and I've asked every band we've had on here this question. I'm sure you've played plenty of live shows over your lifetime. Do you have any Spinal Tap moments you could share with us? You know, those times where like something goes completely wrong, or I've got lots of them.
Actually, quite a few, but I think the one scariest, worst moment that I ever had on stage was back with Malachi. Now, as everybody that knows Malachi lore knows, when I auditioned, I wore a wig because I had short hair. So I had spent, I don't know how many, like $500 on this wig, and it was good looking. So I wore that in audition, got the gig, and the first couple of shows I wore it. And I believe it was the second show. And we're playing, and I start doing this. And usually it was pretty secure to my head because my hair was under it and it didn't move. But I felt it start kind of going. So the bangs were coming down here, you know. It was, I mean, all of a sudden you're seeing somebody's hair go, wait a minute, what is bangs up here? Now it's down. It almost came off. So I stopped headbanging. And I kind of, they were a solo guitar going on, and I, kind of went, so nobody noticed what I was doing, pulling it back down into place. But I about peed my pants. It's like, oh my God, my hair wig's gonna come off, into the audience, and everybody would have known. Bang! So that was probably. I mean, there's been I've fallen on stage and tripped, and I've forgotten lyrics and just made up words. And
I've done that a million times too. You forget a lyric or you forget a verse. You start the verse wrong. Once you start it wrong, you're like, ugh. So you just kind of figure it out the rest of the way.
You just make up. Yeah, as long as it rhymes, So I've had all those kind of things happen, but just from a standpoint of a heart-stopping for me moment on stage, it was that. And then after that's when I approached the guys at rehearsal and said, "Hey, I got to tell you something. I got to be honest with you," and took off the wig. They kept me. I thought for sure they would be like, "Oh no, but they kept me. I was writing songs and singing and stuff, so.
Yeah, well, it wasn't about the hair; it was about the voice. Even though in the '80s it was about the hair, but
yeah,
it was the whole garb. It was about everything.
It was
we got a couple minutes. I'll share a quick Spinal Tap story of my own. I was on stage with Ultimatum. We were playing at the Texas Rock Fest, and it was 115 degrees outside, and it was hot. And we played at middle of the afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock. And the stage was in this park, this big park. It was really nice. It was a big stage. The stage was made up of 2 flatbed trailers. They put them together. That was the stage. And then they put curtains on the front and, to mask the bottom. And it was a nice looking stage, but it was hot. So we get up there and we're doing our thing. And we did this with one song called Cross Hope. And in the song, there's a delay. We didn't have a sound guy. So what we do for that part for the delay on the vocals is I just had a guitar pedal that had delay on it, and we worked it out so that I could just step on it, it would do the delay, and I could step on it and turn it off. Okay, so I go and we're playing the song, and I go and I step on the pedal, and I collapse. I mean, I just went down to the ground, all the way down, and I stood up again real quick, and I kept going, and we finished the song. And no sooner than we finished the song than the stage manager stops the show. He's like, "You guys need to get off the stage." We're like, "What did we do wrong?" And we're like, it was hot. We were dying. So we kind of ignored him. And we went into the next song, and we did a cover of, remember the band Vengeance Rising? We did a cover of their song Burn. And right in the middle of the song, it's all that double bass and stuff. Our drummer stops playing, like just stops. And I turn around and look at him. He's white as a ghost, and he doesn't roll, and he goes back into the song. No big deal. And we're like, and that once that happens, we finish that song, and the stage manager comes on. He goes, "You guys need to get off stage now." And we're like, okay. So we get off stage like, what did we do wrong, you know? And they get up and then they grab the microphone. They're like, we're taking the bands off stage for a few moments, and they'll be returning shortly. And Ultimatum will play the rest of their set. And we're like, oh, okay, we're going to play the rest of our set. We were all suffering from heat exhaustion and pushing towards heat stroke, and weren't even noticing it because we were playing and we were headbanging and we were running around, and that's why I collapsed and I didn't even think about it.
Oh, you guys are lucky. One of you.
Yeah, we're lucky that the stage manager was paying attention and stopped the show. And so we went off. They gave us some electrolytes to drink, and they gave us like 10 minutes, and we went back up and finished our set. So yeah, that was definitely a Spinal Tap moment.
Oh, wait, but when you're young and stupid and you're playing metal,
oh yeah,
you don't think about you're invincible.
I sang a show one time with 101 fever. I was like, I don't care, I'm singing. They're like, dude, you're sick. I'm like, I don't care, I'm not canceling the show. And I did it. I got through it. So yeah,
I can't say I ever did that. I don't ever remember being sick for a show, but
yeah, it was actually a show we had to travel 13 hours to get to. I think we were in Arizona, and we had to travel to Texas, and I was just like, I didn't even drive, and they were like, "You all right, dude?" "Yeah, I'm all right. Just get us there." 13-hour drive with 101 fever. And we stop in the rest stop. You stop in the rest stops or the stores, the little, and I'm buying nasal sprays and everything else to get me through it. I got through it. But I was young, so it was. I don't think I could do it now. I'd probably die. But
hey brother, I couldn't do 80% or more now. What I could do back
exactly.
then. I can't even hit the same freaking notes anymore. So.
Yeah, you're right. Someone just said the equipment's not good for this equipment either. Yeah, it was hot, man. That was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's just putting out heat.
There was no shade over the stage. It was just open stage, and and the sun was just right above us. So that's what happened. So anyhow, that's one of my Spinal Tap stories. I sold other ones.
Texas, boys. I cut 500,000 lawns in Texas heat, so I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Well, you're used to it then.
Of course.
You've built
as used to it as you can be, but it's still it's management, but that's all it is. It's I say that we have a guy that's usually on here, Kevin Colhase, and he lives in Minnesota or North Dakota or someplace, and I think, gosh, how can they live when it's 58 below zero? And they say the same thing about us. How can you live when it's 115 and 90% humidity? So
I'll take the 115 and the humidity over the cold any day of the week.
Yeah, it's
and the snow.
It's just all about acclimating.
I lived in upstate New York for 4 years, and I absolutely hated it because it snowed every day. If it wasn't snowing from the sky, we were getting lake effect snow off Lake Erie, so it was every single day.
And we can't move from Florida to Illinois, and I lived in Florida for 26 years, ever how long until we moved. And man, I got to the point I hated. If you like 365 days of summer, 90, 95, 100 degree weather, that's great, But at least here in Illinois, like right now, it's pretty cold right now.
Yeah.
And I like it. I don't mind either, but not every day all year long.
Yeah.
That's an interesting comment. Go to Australia. It's hot as bleep.
Oh, I can imagine Australia. That's so far down south below the equator, no wonder.
Yeah. Well, we have listeners in Melbourne and all over parts of Australia, and here
we go. Race stars. Go to Australia. Hot as
hot as bleep.
Right on. All right. Well, we're out of time. We definitely appreciate you coming on, but stick around for a minute after the show because don't hang up. That's all I'm saying. And
okay, I'll think about it.
Okay, cool. And let's see what else do we need to do. We need to do so you can find. First of all, you can find Absolon's music by going to nolifetometalrecords.com, or your music's now available on iTunes, I believe.
Everything.
Is that correct? Yep. Yeah, so you can get it digitally.
Are you on Bandcamp? That's my favorite place. Okay, good.
All the albums are on Bandcamp.
Great.
So yeah, it's so you can get this music there, and I believe the last 3 albums are still available on CD over at No Life to Metal. I'm not positive if they still have any of the Portrait of Madness. If they do, there's only a few left because that was a low pressing, right? As I recall, it was only like 300 copies.
Yeah.
So they got to be almost gone if they're not gone. But in any case,
you don't have any of the debut.
No, we never had that one. So I bought that when it first came out as a new release because I was like, oh, because I loved Malachi. So I was all over Absalon when it came out. Actually, my good buddy.
Maybe our record label should consider reissuing
it.
the debut.
Yeah, that's already been discussed.
Hey, Scott,
with a whole new cover.
Scott knows a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah.
Do you know the guy?
Yeah, I know a guy. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can get in touch with him.
I will. Do you know a guy named Olaf Becker from Germany?
Oh
yeah, he's the guy who hooked me up with the first Absalon. He's like, dude, Ken Pike's singing in a new band. So that's how I found out about it. Was from Olaf Becker.
He's a long time fan. He
still is.
Guy. And he
still is a fan. Yeah, he lives in Germany and he special orders at all the albums as soon as they come out. So
yeah.
All right. Well, so like I said, you can find Ken on Facebook under his name, Ken Pike. You can find what's that?
Kenneth.
Is it Ken or Kenneth?
Kenneth.
Well, for Kenneth. Facebook, look up Kenneth.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Kenneth.
Right on. And then I'm looking for John's little thing here. Hang on. That didn't sound right, did it? I'm looking for John's title here.
Yeah, that didn't sound very good. We're trying to keep this PG-13 at best.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, there we go. You can find John on Instagram at Carcass John Art, and you can also find him at
128 Rock. That's www.128.com. And you can, in fact, go there and listen to The Crypt, listen to Carcass John's Alter Ego, and buy a mug or a pint glass or a T-shirt with my artwork on it. Woohoo!
Or more importantly, listen to his show.
And listen to the show, please. In fact, once again, I'll throw out the admonition. If you got any requests, any songs you'd like to hear, send them to me because I have free reign to play whatever I want on that show.
Cool.
Yep, right on. You can find me on Instagram at No Life to Metal. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. And it's just Scott Waters and No Life to Metal. You can find me pretty much everywhere. I'm easy to find. So there is about 4 or 5 other Scott Waters on Facebook, but I'm the ugly one. So just look for the ugly one and you got it going on. So right on. All right. So that's it. So you guys know how we end it. I don't know if Ken knows how we end it, but you guys know how we end it. So for episode number 297 of the Metal Roundtable, Metal will prevail. And then I'll leave you all hanging while I play the outro.